So welcome everyone to the Q&A portion of our final Tour Tuesday. My name is Lizzie Gray and I'm the project coordinator for Connected Lane County. I am joined by Tom Foster of Strapworks, a local manufacturing firm. Welcome, Tom. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. As Lizzie said, I'm Tom Foster. I'm the CEO and owner of Strapworks. We currently have 65 employees. We have about $8 million in revenue, and we make all kinds of really fun and neat stuff, predominantly straps. And straps can be things like belts, leashes, collars, lanyards, tie-down straps, a little bit of everything. So we never have a boring day here. There's always something new and exciting.
I'm happy that you gave those examples because even as I was watching the tour video, I kept trying to picture what a custom strap could be other than maybe a guitar or ukulele strap, but a leash, suspenders, that makes total sense.
Absolutely.
So before we start, everyone, I just wanted to remind you that by now you should have watched the pre-recorded tour video of Strapworks. Olivia sent that out to everyone via email on Monday morning. It's about 10 minutes long, so if you haven't watched it yet, make sure that you do so after this Q&A. And also, while Tom and I are chatting, we won't be able to see or hear you, but we encourage you to type in any questions that you have for Tom into the chat box. I'll make sure that I read them aloud to him and he can answer your questions. This is our final Tour Tuesday, so if you have any questions, it's time to take advantage of this opportunity. So without further ado, let's get started. So I initially was surprised to hear you say that Strapworks started in your closet. Can you describe the closet and maybe talk a little bit about how the daily operation worked at that point?
Well, literally, it was just a bedroom closet. And my wife was very accommodating in throwing her clothes out on the floor. And I basically set up an old TRS-80 computer. And just got Microsoft front page and banged out a rudimentary website. It was really more of a vanity thing than a real attempt at doing business. And when I went back in a month later to work on it a little bit more, there was an order. This was quite a shock to me because even my mother did not know that I had a website. And so I had sold one buckle, one side release buckle. So I had to run over to Joann Fabrics and buy the buckle. I didn't have any buckles. I didn't have any suppliers. I didn't even know I had a business at the time. And so I sold a buckle for 85 cents that cost me $2.50. Not a good business model. And so we then called around and got a few suppliers. And as we started getting product in, the computer stayed in the bedroom closet, but we had a hallway closet that became our stock room.
Oh my gosh.
And so it was literally closet-based for several months. And then as that got bigger, we converted the garage into a warehouse. And we actually then ended up moving the computer out into the dining room area. And going from there. So it was still very much a home-based business for approximately 3 years. So.
Wow. So you built the website, the original website.
Yes.
Do you employ a team that continues to build and maintain on your current website? Because you've said 100% of your sales are online.
Yes. And we do have a web development team and a web maintenance team.
Cool.
It's currently 2, 4, 6, about 7 strong. And we also work with outside developers. I mean, clearly, the website has advanced way beyond my capabilities of even working with outside software.
Yeah.
So the web development team basically maintains and does add-ons to the website. We currently have an outside group working on a brand new website for us. It's been almost 6 years in development.
Wow.
Approximately $200,000. But it will be a phenomenal game changer for us when it comes on. Our biggest problem in being able to get a new website, especially to do what we want it to do, is the fact that we have approximately 7 million options in our straps. We have so many different webbings in so many different colors and virtually any length. We've had a very difficult time getting any program to operate quickly with that type of option availability.
Right.
And so we're really within a month or two of launching. We have had to make a few minor sacrifices. Instead of building a strap completely on one page, we've separated it out into a couple of different pages, but it will be significantly better, faster than our current site.
That's great.
And we do currently load faster than Amazon, so we use that as kind of a benchmark, and we're pretty happy with that.
That's great. What an investment, but it makes total sense if you're relying on your website and e-commerce functionality that you would invest that time and money into a
One
website.
really neat thing for everybody to know, especially if you're thinking about what to do with your life, website developers, website coders, website people are going to be in demand. What's happening right now in our pandemic is a cultural behavioral change. People are buying things online because they have to. Stores aren't open. But they're also finding out, hey, this is pretty easy. This is pretty neat. Doesn't seem to cost me much more. And what we're going to see is not everybody abandoning going out and shopping, but they simply won't be doing as much.
Mm-hmm.
So websites, especially ones that are exclusive, you take a place like Macy's, for instance. Sure, they have a website, but they still have their big box stores in the malls, and they will, at least for another decade, probably. But there are a lot of sites like ours that are exclusively online, and so it's absolutely imperative that our website be up to date,
right?
That it be the best it can be, because we're competing with trillion-dollar companies. I mean, we are competing with Amazon, even though we sell on Amazon. They also buy product from us and sell it themselves.
Yeah.
So we're actively competing with them while we're working with them, and it's both fun and interesting at the same time.
Yeah.
But it is absolutely an investment, and it's an example of a vicious circle that is absolutely wonderful. That is, once you start advertising and getting recognized online, you get more traffic. When you get more traffic, you get ranked higher. When you get ranked higher, you get more traffic. So it just feeds on itself like a snowball going down a mountainside. And we're very, very happy to be, we're ranked about 150,000th in the world.
Wow.
Now, if you think of the fact that there's like 150 million websites, that's really way up there.
Yes.
And so we're real happy about our position, but we can always do better. And that's what our web development team works on. They're always working on SEO. They're always working on better photos. They're working on better content. Right. All of these things are very important to us.
Awesome. You mentioned COVID. And so I thought I might just ask briefly, can you describe some of the changes that maybe just your production team has made in response to some of the restrictions?
We felt we were an essential business.
Mm-hmm.
And shortly after governors started announcing closures, we got about a dozen letters from some of our very biggest customers that said, yes, indeed, you are essential, and we absolutely expect you to stay open and service us. One of those was NASA, and some of our straps just went up on the latest launch. So we're very, very proud of that. And because we serve the medical industry, the military industry, the space industry, we didn't have to close, but we really did not know how things were going to play out. And as soon as this happened, Amazon, who previously was sending us weekly POs of 20 to $30,000, announced outright they were not going to be buying non-essential items. And we would not expect to get anything until minimum April 5th. This was like in the latter part of February. So at that point in time, we didn't lay anybody off. We didn't let anybody go, but we did cut our hours 20%.
Wow.
That lasted 2 weeks. And in that 2-week period, we realized that people were starting to make masks on their own. We started making masks. And then one of our web development team that is in charge of Etsy said, well, there's about 10 million people making masks, so maybe we shouldn't do that. And we thought, yeah, but they're going to need raw materials. We got our hands on about 2 million cord locks and over 1 million yards of elastic. And we were selling immense sums of both elastic and cord locks. And we had to bring everybody back on full time.
Wow.
And over the last month, we've had 3 weeks of 12-hour days.
Wow.
Due to overtime, both in production and in raw materials. So I oftentimes feel a little guilty because I know people are really hurting that are out of work, out of an income, and we're doing so darn well. But COVID has been a bizarre bonus for us.
Yeah. Yep. I understand. That's what a smart business move to pivot into selling those raw materials.
Yes, we did pivot, and we actually experienced this one other time when there was the big oil spill in the Gulf. We started getting phone calls, and they were saying, how many D-rings do you have? And we said, well, looks like we've got about 10,000 in stock. We want them all. Excuse me? I mean, they were taking them all. Nobody was asking for discounts and everything. So I realized they're using them to make the cleaning booms and things of that nature. And we called all of our domestic suppliers and bought all the hardware they had. We were then the only source of hardware in the US for about 3 months because it's all made in China. And that's how long it takes to get an order over.
Yeah.
When this happened and we realized people are making masks, they're going to need elastic, they're going to need cord locks. Again, we went to every domestic supplier we knew. We literally bought them out. And we had a couple that were also being very proactive, having stuff made overseas and flying it in. So we actually got we got a couple of their first shipments without anybody else having access to it.
Jeez.
And for a while there, we controlled a great deal of the US source of elastic and cord locks. But that has smoothed out a little bit right now. And although we're still selling an awful lot of those products, it's come back down. But other things have come up.
Right, right. So you mentioned that you guys are pretty dang busy. And you've also mentioned in the video that you guys are, more often than not, you're hiring. So my question is, typically, what are those positions? And are they something that a high school student or graduate could fulfill?
The only skilled positions we have here at Strapworks are literally in our web development department. People do have to come in with an understanding of code and that type of circumstance, but everything else is a completely trainable situation. We have positions in our production department for sewers, and these are all automatic machines. It literally takes about an hour to understand how to operate it, and then a matter of months before you're pretty much a skilled sewer. We do a lot of training in there, and we currently have 2 positions open in our production department.
Great.
Then we skip over and we have our sublimation department. Now our sublimation department is where we dye all of our webbing and we make all the special custom webbing, things of that nature. So people who want something fun and neat, for instance, on their mask, if they want to have a mask that is a special saying, or we can even put pictures on it for it, and we can have lots of fun with masks. We're doing that a lot right now, making an awful lot of masks. We just got a shipment of 10,000 in, and we don't expect it to last very long. So in sublimation, you're working either in the print room where you're printing paper that will then be transferred onto the webbing, or out in our machine tender area where you're feeding the paper and the webbing through the machine to sublimate. And we have positions available in that department as well. Upstairs, we have our customer service department. They did just hire 2 people.
Great.
And I'm not sure there are any openings, but customer service here is really pretty easy. We're not a call center. We don't do outgoing calls. We get calls asking about orders, asking about products.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's mostly informational. On occasion, we'll get a cranky customer, but it doesn't happen very often. And it's a very low stress situation.
That's great.
And then our largest department is our shipping department, shipping and picking. And so anybody that is buying raw materials instead of finished product, those orders come in, they're distributed every morning, and they're filled and out the door they go. We do between 500 and 800 of those orders every day.
I remember you saying that in the video.
So yes, so there's, we still have positions available down there. And because we're growing, and because Amazon, I had mentioned, they fired up, by the way, not on April 5th, but the week before, caught us quite by surprise, and with a $40,000 PO.
Wow.
This week, yesterday, we got a $104,000 PO from Amazon.
Holy smokes.
So we are very, very, very busy filling Amazon orders. And we are building a new Amazon department that will proactively be producing a lot of the products that we know they order every week.
Wow.
And so we'll have it stacked, and instead of having a big rush on Tuesday and Wednesday to get it out on time, and believe me, they don't really care what size PO they send you. They could ask you for one product and they want it out on this day. They could ask you for 100,000 products and they want it out on that day. We've asked for some relief and they've said absolutely not. Basically build to what we're giving you. So that's what we're doing. We have a couple of positions there where people will be cutting, wrapping, preparing webbing. We are the largest webbing supplier on Amazon. And so there's a lot of that to be done. Currently, I believe we still have about 3 to 5 positions open. We just hired 5 people yesterday.
Holy smokes.
And so I believe during the summer, as business picks up, we will continue to have some openings.
Great. That's incredible. You are growing very quickly.
Oh, yeah.
So I see a question here. What are some key characteristics of your company culture?
Well, I mentioned low stress. That to me is a key characteristic here. If you're sewing, if you're picking orders, nobody is standing there with a stopwatch checking to see how fast you're moving. Of course, we have minimum standards, but if you're meeting those minimum standards, we don't have a contest to see who can be the best. We just ask people to work and work at an easy pace. We are a family-owned and operated business. My wife and I are owners. Our daughter works here. Our son-in-law, our daughter-in-law all work here. And we consider everybody else to be foster children. And so it's very family-oriented. A lot of folks comment on that when we're in the reviews. They say, I just really love the fact that you treat us so well. We have a health and wellness program, which is currently on hold, but we do offer daily exercise classes. They're 30 minutes long and 50 minutes is the employee's break. 15 minutes is paid time to exercise and be better. We have a hot tub here on site. Not a lot of businesses have that.
No.
And that feeds right into the laid back culture. If you want to spend your lunch in hot water, you can do so.
But no eating in the hot tub.
Yes, and you can come in a little early, you can stay a little late, and enjoy those amenities. so it's really relaxed. It's not your typical manufacturing environment by any means. And I am very supportive of all of our people, but especially our customer service department. When we get someone who's really crossed the line, perhaps they're cursing, they're yelling, there are any number of things, the owner of the business will get on the line and explain to them that they can calm down and be a decent human being, or they can gladly go somewhere else. We are very fortunate to not have to put up with that kind of stuff, and we don't. So
well,
it's
that's really important.
A very supportive culture,
yeah.
and a very laid back culture, if you will. We still have a lot of work to do, mind you. I mean,
right.
$104,000 order doesn't get filled on its own. I mean, there's a lot of work to do, and we do have to go into high gear on some days. But overall, I think people get up in the morning and they say, great, I'm going to work. Not, oh my God, I have to go to work again. So we have a lot of fun here.
That's awesome. Quick disclosure, our yard crew just arrived, so I'm going to mute myself between questions because it's very loud. We have very thin walls, but I apologize. Let me see. Actually, first, can you talk about one of your favorite projects? You mentioned that you have sent straps into space.
Yes.
Which I'm sure many people can't claim. So can you just talk a little bit about that?
I think there are two areas really. One is global like that. NASA is a customer, and we have other customers involved in the space program, but we also have non-disclosure agreements with them. So I can talk about NASA, but not the others. But that was very, very fun, developing straps for both launches to the International Space Station previously, like with the Falcon Heavy module and other things, but then also being a part of the Falcon capsule launch just a couple Saturdays ago is a very, very high source of pride for us. It was a lot of fun developing the straps, and it's a lot of fun always filling those orders when they come in. But another one was very recent when we were selling elastic, and our largest elastic order was for $85,000. But I knew that was all business. We had a woman in Montana who lives on a little ranch, and she has a couple of houses that she does Airbnb. She's also a semi-professional photographer. And so she sent in an order for some elastic, and we were out of the color and size she wanted. So I was in charge of calling her and talking with her. And after I got done, I emailed her the information as well. And then she emails me back with some pictures of elk in her yard. And I said, wow, that's really neat. And we started this email back and forth for a couple of weeks. And she finally got to a point where she said, this has been really enjoyable, but I'm all done making masks. I think I've made masks for everybody in our community, and I'm done. I have to stop. And I said, well, I also thank you very much for sharing pictures of your life and everything around you and all the nice chats we've had. So oftentimes it's the small connections that are just as enjoyable as the large ones, and perhaps even more so.
Absolutely. That makes total sense to me. Yeah. How fun to go back and forth for that long.
Oh, yeah.
About something. Yeah, that's great. What do you look for when hiring new employees?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, I like to hire people who want to work. And I know that sounds really obvious, but there are people who are not really certain they want to work yet, especially in this age group. Everybody wants a little more money in their pocket, but oftentimes people don't realize that means getting up every day on time, being here. So we want people who are smart, and I don't mean super intelligent. I mean just smart. You know that you've got to be here on time. You know that you've got to be here every day. You know that you've got to do your job. Um, they're very simple parameters. But if you do that, you will never go lacking for a job, because that's what every employer is looking for, a reliable employee. We have had folks that in their first month have missed 3 and 4 days. And we said, no, you know, you may actually be a good worker, but you've got to be here. So attendance is extremely important. And of course, being on time is extremely important as well. Beyond that, you know, to be honest, we have a real wide variety of people here. We have old people, we have young people, we have people in the middle, boy, oh boy, they come from all kinds of different backgrounds, and so it's kind of a melting pot, and it's
the
just
word I was going to use.
It's fun, yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Here's a question from a student. What advice do you have for high school students when thinking about their future careers, especially in terms of balancing their passions and the need to make money?
Well, you can't always make money on your passion, unfortunately. My cousin is a painter. He's a very accomplished painter. He's a starving artist. So he works at Costco when he's not painting.
Costco's not a bad gig.
Yes, but at the same time, I think it's important that you not hinge everything on a big dream. It's so easy to be disappointed in that. I think if your passion is in IT, for sake of argument, you obviously need to get a good educational background in that, and then just go out and start getting some experience. It used to be somebody would go to work right out of high school and would retire, typically at a manufacturing plant, back when America was much more of a manufacturing country. Nowadays, people seem to job hop quite a bit. And employers don't like that a whole lot, but it does help employees get a pretty good look at the way different businesses operate. So I would actually say broadly define your passion at first. You can always narrow it down as you go on. And the broader it is, the more opportunities you will have to get experience, get the work environment into your blood, and go from there. And of course, regardless of what you do, be proud of what you do. Own it. And that way you're going to do your very best job. Don't come in and say, oh my God, are you kidding me? I'm a janitor? No, be the best darn janitor on the planet. And then if janitoring is not your thing, keep your eyes and ears open around wherever you are cleaning up. And when there's an opening, go for it. We always hire from inside first. Whenever we have a job opening, we post it interior, and we allow people to move up, move over, however they are doing it. And there have been a couple of people who moved up and said, you know what? I kind of liked it back down here. So next time there's an opening, I'm going to go back.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. So it sometimes mobility is not the best thing. So.
One more question here. Apologies again for the noise. Do you employ product designers or material engineers to create your straps?
We have two different avenues for that. We have a custom department that is full of people who know enough about our products. They've pretty much been in our production department, in our sublimation department, and now when someone like NASA calls and says, we need this strap, they're able to help design and develop with the right materials and the right manufacturing process to get what the client wants. So there's the custom department. They're not engineers. They're just folks that have been with us long enough that they really know what they're doing. They know the limitations of the materials and the processes, and they can say yes and no when appropriate. Our second group is we do have a think tank. It's called the think tank, and members move in and out of the think tank over time so that we get new ideas all the time. And they come in, they meet once every 2 weeks, and they pitch new ideas to the company. What about this idea? For instance, we have an active shooter strap for schools, and it came from our think tank. We had someone call in, and they said, we need to get busy and do some of these things that are, they can be mounted by a door. When there's an announcement or an alarm, it's very quick to secure the door. And then, because we all know that those types of people act on convenience. So you come to a door and it's locked or blocked, they move on to the next one. So we're looking at locking and blocking to the best of our ability. And there have been a number of other products as well. But the think tank really helps us. So not necessarily engineers, because we do deal with outside engineers, and they come in and they give us their tolerances and we laugh. Then we say, this is webbing, guys. You can't do webbing down to 1/1000th of an inch. I'm sorry. So you got to come up to our level, which is about 1/4 of an inch in tolerance, and then we can talk.
Yep, that's so interesting. But it does sound like there still is room to be creative.
Oh, absolutely.
In any position.
And in fact, we encourage it actively. We have quick and easy Kaizens, which are ideas that make a department either more profitable or more efficient or both. And people get rewarded for that. They get cash rewards, they get gift card rewards. And any ideas that come to me that become a good product, I'm very likely to give a bonus or some type of monetary reward for being open-minded, thinking, and sharing.
That's great. So something that we used to call soft skills, but we're pushing the movement to call them professional skills. What 3 professional skills do you think that you and your team use on a daily basis?
Did you say 3 or, okay. Well, speaking seriously is a professional skill. You need to have command of the English language. You need to know how to speak in complete sentences. And you certainly need to know how to speak in the right context. That affects all of our customer service people, but anyone who interacts with a client absolutely knows how to speak. Secondly is writing. And again, that goes to our customer service and custom department. If you put together an email that just is mangled, you're unlikely to land that contract. They will go to someone else who is able to write better, and they feel then that they will do the strap better. When you can't speak and you can't write effectively and professionally, it reflects on the rest of your product. You can make the best widget in the world, but if you don't know how to sell it by speaking properly, you're never going to get anywhere with it. And then I think the third professional skill is simply, I'm going to say attendance. I honestly believe that attendance is a professional skill. You have to know how to manage your life so that you get to work on time, so that you're alert. You weren't out partying until 1 o'clock the night before. You do have to manage your life during the work week. Here at Strapworks, we do 4 10-hour days. So all of our employees have a 3-day weekend, blow off steam and have fun. We tell them to detox on Sunday night. So when they come in Monday morning, they're up and at 'em and they're ready to go at 100%.
That's great. That really makes sense. What about your company makes you the most proud?
I think the fact that we have so many people that have been here for so many years. We have a significant number of staff that have been here 10 plus years out of 20. And I'm very, very proud of that. I'm also proud of the fact that with the exception of our current building, which the bank owns, because we didn't have a couple of $1 million, but we have been a cash-based business since day one. As I mentioned, we started in our home. We've kind of been on a 3 to 4 year cycle. Every 3 to 4 years, we've had to move, expand, or in some way address our growth. And we've always done that with money that has been in our savings, or by looking for inexpensive ways to expand and move up. So we're not in debt. We own all of our machinery. We own our land. We own all of our inventory. Like I say, the only thing we don't own is the building, but we will in a couple of years because we're paying it off quickly.
Very nice. Those would be two huge sources of pride, I'm sure, for any business owner,
Yes.
especially the retention of employees, because that speaks to you as an owner and CEO.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and then I think for the final question, if the students listening were to remember just one thing about Strapworks from today's talk or the tour video, what would that one thing be?
Well, I'll joke first. The
Okay.
hot tub. Remember the hot tub.
I don't think many will forget that.
But beyond that, I think remember that Strapworks is a family-owned, locally owned business, and we really care about the people that work for us and with us. It's very easy to go to work for a large entity and feel like you're really making it, you're really working your way up the ladder. And this is not a knock on anybody else, but family-owned businesses, locally owned businesses, really have a stake in the community, and they have an interest in having a stable employee base. So whether it's Strapworks or any other local business, I think you're going to do a lot better in the long run than maybe trying to go to work for J.C. Penney's, who sadly may not be around anymore, or businesses of that nature. You know, the larger corporate businesses. Certainly, I'm sure a lot of people work for Amazon that are very, very happy.
Right.
But at the same time, there are just thousands of people that work for Amazon, and it's just a drudge every single day. I would like to hope that nobody here feels that this is a drudge job. And so just remember that we are a business, among others, that do care about you as a person, not just as an employee, and most assuredly, not as a number.
Right.
No.
Right. Yep. I bet you know the name of all 65 employees.
Well, I'll be honest with you, I do, but I don't know the names of the last 5 that we hired.
That was yesterday.
Just yet. But I do walk on the floor. I was down packaging this morning because we need to. It's a little bit, to use a school metaphor. I mean, if teachers go on strike, principals teach.
True.
And so the schools stay open and they get, so here, when we get an order like we've gotten, all hands are on deck. Everybody's here. Every department is feeding whatever they can. If customer service says, we only need 2 people up here today, it's pretty quiet, the other 3 go downstairs and package. So there's always something like that going on. And because I'm always down talking to everybody and working shoulder to shoulder, yes, I learn names, and I learn the names of their spouses and their kids and some of their friends as well. Because we have one big blowout party every year, 4th of July. Not this year, darn it.
Shoot.
That's a family affair. And so all the families come in, the grandkids, the kids, everybody comes and has a good time. And so you get to know the families as well.
That's really great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Tom, for your time and for creating that awesome video for everyone to watch. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for inviting Strapworks and myself to participate. And I hope we see some of the students come around looking for even a summer job. We do hire a few people each year for summer jobs. And I hope they got something out of it.
Absolutely. Are your jobs posted on your website?
I believe they are, yes.
Okay.
Because we're transitioning right now. I know it's on Indeed.
Okay.
And a couple of the other job boards.
Great.
Well. So.
Alrighty, folks. Well, that's where to go look if you'd like to work at Strapworks this summer. Thanks again, everybody. We hope that you join us tomorrow for our next Working Wednesday webinar. We will talk with Laura Vinson, who works at the county government, about where to search for jobs. So maybe we'll see a few up from Strapworks. Alrighty, everybody. Have a great day. Bye, Tom.
Bye-bye.